Hello and welcome to an Everquest leveling guide for 1 to 50. This is my first leveling guide. This is going to be a series of videos. I've broken it up into different segments, if you will, of different kind of breakpoints in how Everquest leveling works. And this is based on live servers, so let's go ahead and go to the first one here. Boom. And there we go. All right. So first, I have some assumptions. There's a bunch of them. So leveling on live, your chances of getting a group at lower levels is pretty much close to zero. You might be able to find a guy here or there, or some guy that's power leveling his multi-boxing group or a character that he wants to add, and he's looking for people to add to his group. But for the most part, multi-boxing is required, and this guide will go under the assumption that you can do any of the different types of multi-boxing. There's manual, IS Boxer, and of course MacroQuest. I'm gonna assume you're at least using 3 characters with 3 mercenaries, or all the way up to 6 characters in any combination. I've tried this all out with free, paid, gold. Like paid is in you have the subscription, gold, chrono enabled account, whatever. Doesn't matter for this level, for 1 to 50. And I'm assuming you're starting from scratch. You could go to a brand new server and do this, and yeah, it should work. And I assume you're gonna, keep your spells up to date, trying to buy them every 5 or 10 levels. This depends on how fast you're leveling at these lower levels. It takes about 10 to 15,000 gold or platinum, I guess, for 1 to 60. I don't know exact numbers on this. I was buying them as I got money for a lot of my groups that I used. And I'm assuming you're gearing the tank character the most, and you're keeping them as geared as possible, and same with the healer, both of these. So I'll go into what those are next, but I'm assuming you're going to keep them geared. I'm also assuming that you're going to have a guild. You can create a guild if you don't have a free-to-play account, and you can use the guild hall teleports, and this is used for getting to some of these locations without having to spend hours of travel. I also assume you're going to use the Lessons of the Devout, which is a 100% experience buff that lasts for 30 seconds that all accounts get, free or not. I'm also assuming you have the Brewall or good map packs. They label the map in the in-game map with different points, and kind of go over that certain points. Some notes. Snare. I am going to mention the snare in certain places. Snare reduces movement speed and prevents mobs from fleeing. Druids, Rangers, Shadow Knights, Necromancers, Bards, and Wizards have that ability. It just pretty much stops running mobs when you're in a dungeon. Shrink makes the player smaller to fit in places. There's certain dungeons where if you're playing an ogre, it's problematic to try to move around because you fill up the entire corridor. Shamans and beast lords have the ability to shrink, and to some extent, like later on, outside the scope of level 50, enchanters can project illusions to you to make you smaller. Crowd control. This falls under enchanter and bard. This is the mesmerize or charm line of spells. Other classes get charm, druids, and whatnot, but I don't consider charming in this at all, just because it doesn't always work out that well. Resurrection, clerics and paladins at the lower levels at 59 on live. Druids and shamans pick it up, and if you have a mercenary that is a healer, they will resurrect you. I found that out the other day, which is kind of nice. You just put your corpse in front of them and they will do all the rest. If they are over 56, they will cast the good cleric res. Evac is for escaping situations. This is druid and wizard group wise. Necromancers get Levant, which is a or Levant. I like Levant better. It's like it takes you to the succor point in the zone, which is usually either the zone in or a designated safe spot. The tank is the warrior, shadow knight, a paladin, and you could probably use a mercenary, and you can definitely use a mercenary for 1 to 50. About 60 I found they became useless, but from 1 to 50 a tank will do, a tank mercenary will do fine, but a tank takes all the damage in the class, or the group. They're the taunters. They are supposed to hold aggro. They are, in my opinion, the most important part of a group. I usually play when I play from a tank perspective, either my Shadow Knight or my warriors, but they are useful in lots of situations. Movement speed. Now, this one I added this one late to my list here. Movement speed is actually very important. I'll go to that in a group. I have a group without movement speed buff, and it is miserable to play in certain situations. But this is like the Spirit of Wolf line from Shamans and Druids, and Cello's Accelerando or whatever from Bards. And this is a movement speed increase. I think it's like 55% or something like that, but it's night and day. It goes from being able to barely outrun a mob with strafing to completely being able to kite them around and stuff like that. And then healing. I thought I would mention this. Doing some of this without healers is problematic. So you're gonna want a healer of some sort. I prefer. I like them all. Cleric being the best, Druid and Shaman probably about equal. Everything my Shaman can do, my Druid can do, and do more damage. I feel like Shamans are overrated, but I haven't been able to prove that 100% yet. Paladins can heal. I have a group with a Paladin tank, and they get group heals, and for the most part, they can keep the group alive unless it's a hard situation. Rangers get heals, but it's not worthwhile. It's not good, but it exists. If you don't have a healer and you're just trying to slow down the downtime, or speed up the downtime, that is. Mercenaries, the mercenary healer is actually pretty good. I use one on Nomregard to keep his pet alive, and it has been a phenomenal way to play, using the necromancer pet as a tank. But I don't consider those as real tanks, so I don't include mage pets or necromancer or beast lord pets as tanks for leveling up. I don't feel it is reliable in a multi-character situation. Soloing different, but this is for grouping. So that's healing and everything else. Where are we at here? So I did all of this on several test groups. I did a Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, Mage, Wizard, Rogue, which was a gnome-only group. Originally, I'd made this as a group to join Nomregard in his group missions that he'll need to do for the hero's journey, but they just level too it's too slow because they're still free to play. But interesting group, no movement speed, but they have res, and they have CC, and they have damage, and they do pretty well. Shadow Knight, Shaman, Bard, Mage, Druid, Beast Lord. This is my main group now. I used to have a Cleric here, but I switched out for a Beast Lord, and this group for me works really well. The Druid, the Druid heals for the most part and does damage and whatnot. So it works really well for me. I can't give up teleports, or Call a Hero is not really useful to me anymore, but teleporting around. Druids and wizards get teleport to bind, so they can go. You can run your druid or wizard off to wherever you want to go, bind your character there, and go back to your guild hall wherever you have your other characters and teleport them exactly to where you're bound. And to me, that just saves me so much time. Especially if you don't have the ability to get 3 characters there for a fellowship camp. I've also tried Shadow Knight, Shaman, Bard, Beast Lord, Zerker, which is a very popular multi-boxing group. I feel like the Shaman is the weak point in this group. I just don't. I think Shamans and Shadow Knights are overrated, but it is what it is. I have another group, another characters. These are all separate characters. I don't overlap any of these characters for this purpose. Warrior, Shaman, Bard, Zerker, Monk, Ranger is just kind of, I needed a Ranger and I wanted to try out a different group, so I was kind of just threw that together, and they work actually pretty well. The Ranger does the snaring, the Warrior is like pretty much unkillable, Shaman slows and heals, Bard for the movement speed and the CC, and a Zerker and a Monk for damage. I'm not a fan of Zerkers. Like, I guess they pick up like 150 plus or 115, you know, around there. Like in game they pick up, but the rogue out damages everybody in all my groups so far. Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter, Mage, Monk, Druid. This is one of another group I have. It's pretty good group. And then No Regard solo. I've done all this with him solo, so it's just it's doable solo, but I don't prefer it unless you're a necromancer. So for 1 to 15, so this is like what, 12 minutes in, I'm finally getting to it. 1 to 15, I recommend if you're on a brand new server and you just want to, you've never played EverQuest before, do the tutorial. 100% do the tutorial. It's easy. There's lots and lots of this crude defiant gear everywhere that drops, and in some cases people leave it on mobs because they can't loot because there's not enough bags. So you might be able to, you know, get his stuff, you know, pretty easy. And the crude defiant is probably some of the best stuff you can get at this lower level. Let's see here. Yeah, so there's I think his name is Mr. Kavat, mentioned it on one of my videos. He recommended that you farm staves, and so I tried this on one of my playthroughs. There's these kobold shamans that spawn, and they have these staves that sell for, I think, 4 platinum each. Easy way to make a lot of money really fast. You can if you fill up your bags with the staves, go sell, go get more. Once you completed the tutorial, you can stay in the tutorial until 15. So it's definitely a way to make a lot of money early on with low risk, because you can, if you have the mercenary in there, the tank mercenary will kill everything for you without having to do much. If you need a walkthrough in that, I have the Gnome Regard series. My Necromancer series, he kind of goes through that whole tutorial in the first episode or 2. And it takes about 1 to 2 hours, depending on how well you know the zone. So I think I got through it in less than 1 hour before, but sometimes it takes longer. Just depends on, you know, spawns that you get and how hard you're trying. So after you complete the tutorial, it kicks you out into Crescent's Reach. This is where you can pick if you want to do the Heroic's Journey. If it's your first time playing EverQuest, I totally recommend you do the Hero's Journey. It leads you through an achievement quest line that will get you, you know, gear along the way and show you different things, and it's fairly easy. I'm doing it on Gnome Regard. It's time consuming and slower though than if you were just to go and do the leveling that I suggest later on, but it's an option. It's pretty fun if you've never done it though. Next, okay, so 1 to 20. or 15 to 20. So you just popped out Crescent Reach. I had cut it off on the map, but you spawn like over on this part of the map right over here, and then you go down. Here's the Crescent Reach city, and then you pop out here. This is the zone to light fires more. So effectively you start 1 to 5. You're going to want to go in this A section right here. I highlighted it on the map with blue. There's spiders, drakes, skeletons, and snakes. Spiders, drakes, snakes, and skeletons. Whatever. The skeletons will drop bone chips. So if you have a Shadow Knight or a Necromancer, that'll get them going for their pets. And then you can sell everything else. Camp B, which includes these 2 caves and this whole field area right here, which is a pretty large area. I usually go right about here. So here's the bridge. I go like right here. There is a static bear that spawns. I usually make a camp right there. And in my Dragon Slayers stream series, I put the group right there. But that's on an emulated server, so the experience is a little bit different than live. But it's a good spot to camp because that bear is static and it's pretty easy. And on live, the mobs don't attack you, so you can just kind of sit there. And there you'll kill bears, pumas, drakes, and spiders. So good spot. And then you can go into, I think this is the puma cave. And this is a shroom cave. I've never really done the shroom cave. I've just done the puma cave, and the next is the bear cave, which is this cave right here. And then from 10 to 18, you're gonna go to the bear cave. This lake has some crocodiles you can kill, but I found them annoying because half of them are in the water and half of them aren't, and it's just you can't attack things that are in water if you're not, and it's just annoying. So I just go straight to the bear cave. At first, you can only kill like maybe 1 or 2 bears. They're all static spawns in this cave. I think there might be like 1 roamer, but he doesn't assist if I recall. You just kill what you can. It'll respawn. Keep doing that until you get closer to 18. You could probably stay in this cave till 20 because it's really easy, but you're probably going to want to move from 18 to 20 over to this Camp D, which is the undead farms right around here in this area, and then there's like a tomb up in this area. The easier undead are right in this area, the harder ones are right here in this upper area. You can actually stay here till 24, but I typically don't unless I'm power leveling. It's just not worth the effort, and they're kind of annoying. So it's just kind of like whatever. There's gnolls that spawn over here around about 15-ish, but I skip them because they slow, and it just slows the whole process down if you get slowed by a mob for 60 seconds and you don't have cures yet. But that'll get you to 20 in Crescent Reach, and after that there's some alternate zones. Kern's Tower is popular. I in a state of unrest, I don't really recommend, like, you can see how the path, I'm trying to put the path for all these zones, right? You have to leave Crescent Reach, you have to go to Blightfire Moors, you have to go to Plane of Knowledge, Field of Bone, then Kern's Tower, and you know, that's quite a lot of travel when in that amount of time you could probably have gotten 20. The same with a state of unrest. You got to go all the way there, and then going through Butcher Block. If you're not a good race, you could get attacked, and then going through Dragnar's Cauldron, you can get attacked also. If you my Dragon Slayer series, that happened significant. Like everywhere I went, I was getting attacked because I had evil characters, and it's just a pain. Just easier to stay in Crescent Reach till 20 and then go to Plane of Knowledge. All right, so you hit 20. Step 1, go to Plane of Knowledge. You want to go bind at the Soul Binder, or if you have the Bind Affinity spell, you want to bind yourself wherever you want in the zone. I like to bind my casters by the small bank near they call it the lag pile. It's a area in in Plain Knowledge by the Guild Lobbies Online. Just lots of players sit there and they constantly throw out buffs, and sometimes you can get buffs without doing anything. Just if you got an AFK and you're in POK, just stand there. You'll come back. Your buff slots are usually full of stuff because there's just people randomly casting stuff constantly. You're gonna want to buy spells. That's your number one if you're a spellcaster, right? Buy spells. If you needed, any kind of weapon upgrades. If you did a tutorial, you could probably skip doing upgrades at this level 20 because you're probably gonna have like the equivalent of Crude Defiant and a full set of it, and so you should be good to go for right now. Maybe a new weapon. Weapons are the best thing for melee classes and tanks, and spells are the best things for casters. The bazaar, where you can go and buy stuff, is connected to Plane of Knowledge, so that's where you can go shop if you have extra platinum. So if you went crazy and you farmed shamans for a while and you got like 1,000 platinum, you could go get a better weapon or something. If you didn't get lucky and get a Defiant one, or something else. There's a bag quest you can do. I don't have the name of that offhand, but there's a gnome sitting outside the entrance to the bazaar. He will give you a quest to do a bag. It's literally go inside, buy a trade satchel, and I think it's like a 10 slot weight reduction bag you can get for free. So it's kind of nice. Definitely do that as soon as you can. And then you want to go talk to Franklin Teak. He will give you your daily quest. Franklin Teak is the focus of this guide, so my focus for leveling, and the fastest that I've been able to do it without power leveling, is using these hot zones to level, and I'll go into that more shortly. The hot zones change daily, so every 5 levels there's a new quest you can get, and you can get all the previous ones. So if you're level 50, you can get the 45, 40, 35, 30, all the way down to 20. And you can get the rewards from all those too if you want. Not really necessary, but you can. Also, while you're here, if you have a group, go create a fellowship. There's a fellowship, I think it's called a fellowship vendor, in the good side, quote unquote, of POK. Over there, you can find him. He's on the, if you hit Control F in game, it should pull up a find window, and it'll create a little magical squiggly line to lead you to him. You want to buy a fellowship campfire kit, and there's a teleport item. I can't remember the name of it. I forgot to put them in the guide, but those items definitely you want. So with that, you can if you have 3 members of your fellowship at the same location, you can build a campfire, and then anybody in your fellowship can teleport to that campfire using the medallion or whatever it is. So it's very useful for moving characters around, or getting dead characters back to where you are if you don't have a reser or anything like that. All right, so the first hot zone groups are for 20 to 25. There's Upper Guk, South Karana, and Polygal Caverns. These are actually pretty good zones. I recommend whatever one you get. When you get into it, once you find the mobs, wait till you find the mobs, and there's a significant amount of them where you want to be. I would use your Lessons of the Devout and get that 100% experience bonus and just grind out from 20 to 25 right here. You can go keep going until you burn the lesson. It just depends on the zone if you're going to be able to get enough mobs. But for me, this was the fastest way to do it. Like Upper Guk, for the Upper Guk, it was usually go kill some knights of some sort, and I usually go to the Lower Guk zone line and just make a camp right there and just start pulling, and then I usually get them, and then you can just pull every single frog in that area, and you'll fly to probably almost 30 if it is the hot zone of the day, because there's a bonus experience inside the hot zones at the same time, so it kind of double dips in the bonus experience. So South Carolina is okay. It's easy to get to. You know, you just go through Arena to Lake Wrath and then swim over to South Carolina. It's a pretty easy zone. It's usually go kill 5 Aviacs or 5 Centaurs. It's the only issue with this one is unless you go to the Aviac village and just kill everything, which you should be able to do with a group at level 20 without any issue. Even the advocates or whatever the level 30 ones are, you should be able to kill them. They're gonna hit hard, but you should be able to do it. Those you want to burn all those birds with your lesson. Paljo Caverns is an interesting one. Slightly harder to get to. Easy zone though, but I would say these older zones, South Carolina and Upper Guck, the mobs are going to generally have lower hit points no matter what, because they're from classic Everquest, or Paljo Caverns is from Luckland. So it's a great zone. I remember power leveling characters here, and I think I only got the hot zone for this once in all my times. I always get Upper Guck in South Carolina for some reason, but definitely worth doing in these and burning your lesson there for these levels. And then once you do the quest, you have a 17-hour timeout, so you won't be able to get the next one until the next day, pretty much. So your goal on that first one is you're trying to get from 20 to 25. If you can get to 30 on that lesson, you're even better. Because the next one you're gonna go, Stone Abrupt Mountains, Lakeville Omen, Nidaria's Landing. These are all good zones, really easy. If you have evac, this one's even easier because you can evac right to the spot where the mobs are. Getting to Lake Omen can be difficult at times if you're an evil race, because the guards in the front of a tunnel can attack you, but if you have Spirit of Wolf, you should be fine unless they snare you. And then I've never gotten the Stonebrunt ones, Stonebrunt Mountains. There's 2 options to get there. I think I've walked through the zone once, but I've never gotten the daily quest for that one. Lake Omen's a great zone. You could stay here for all the way to 30 for sure. Nidaria's Landing, I think it was killing pumas or panthers, I think they are, and bears and something else. Pretty easy zone. I didn't find any difficulty in that one. Effectively, you could just stand in like the middle of the zone. Like there's a bunch of mobs around, just sit in the middle and they auto attack you, and you could just sit there and kill them if you have a enchanter to mesmerize things. But your goal is to get as high as you can, because you want to get over. So if you can get at least to 26, you can get the level 31. So on the next day, you would be able to get the 20, the 25, and the 30 daily quest. And the current one you have for your current level usually gives about 20% of a level. The one above that, usually 20% of a level, and then the one below it, 10% of a level. So that's my experience. So you can get, about 50% of a level just by doing the quest. And then on your next day, when you have all, 3 or 4 of them, you can burn your lesson and you should be able to get to the next one. So, and that's kind of my focus for this, is I do this. I'm leveling so many different groups that I just kind of do my lesson, do my dailies, and then I go to the next group of characters kind of thing. So works for me that way. You could just literally just sit in these zones and grind until everything's green, but I wouldn't recommend it. So you get to 30, you want to head back to Plane of Knowledge, buy spells, abilities, whatever you need to buy. Pick up the the next hot zone quest. If you need money, you're gonna need money. This is something I ran into on the gnome group. I kept running out of money. I couldn't buy the wizard spells for the longest time, and it took a while. to farm up platinum. I went to various locations trying to find. Ended up Soleil is a good place to farm platinum. Unrest is a good place to farm platinum at 30. I think I went to a few other places to try. I think Upper Guck, you can go back there, farm frogs just for money. You just need enough to buy spells. I wouldn't spend more time in doing that than you need to get the spells. Like, and I would focus on your important spells, like your ports to POK. That was, to me, that was like a spell I kept forgetting to buy on my wizard. My healer, I didn't buy Temperance at 40 because I didn't realize I could get it. I didn't have the latest heal and stuff like that, so it was just, it took a while to get money and stuff like that. If you have a paid account, so this is a chrono enabled or a gold account or whatever, and you've had the account is older than, you know, probably a month or two, you might have enough loyalty tokens to go buy a bag of platinum from the loyalty merchant, and each bag of platinum has about 14,000 platinum, so that will really set you ahead. I ended up doing that on my Shadow Knight group when I couldn't buy spells for them originally, so definitely something to look into if you have loyalty points. Then from 30 to 35, you're going to want to, you know, these are the options. Soleil Seeks Eye, I don't know how to say that. I call it Soleil, Blightfire Moors, and Cryptid Dalinar. So I went to Cryptid Dalinar. I tried it out. If you go without snare and you don't CC and res and evac, you're gonna have a hard time. Honestly, the mobs in there are. I felt like they were overtuned for level 30. I think is when I went with my one of my groups, and getting there is a pain in the butt. It's POK, Fill the Bone, or Slicks Woods, Cryptid Dalinar. Same thing over there. So you got multiple ways to get there. I just don't think it's. I don't think this is a good zone to go to. But it does have, you know, some possible loot to get and stuff like that. So I like this one. Soul A is great. It's easy to get to. POK, Neriac, Lava Storm, Soul A, boom. Or Guild Hall, Lava Storm, Soul A, boom. It's easy to get to, not that hard. I would bring Snare, and if you have large race characters, you need some kind of shrinks. So typically I have a shaman to use for that, and I don't remember when the beast sword gets shrink. I can't remember what level that is, but definitely a shaman is very useful there. And I would bring CC. I had a lot of issues where I'd pull one, I'd get 6, and it was, you know, a lot of touch and go. But most of my groups have an evac, or they can just brute force through it, so it's harder, but definitely something you can do, and it's definitely worth it. I burned my lessons in. I did the Dalinar burn, and I did this, and I got from all 5 levels, so definitely easy. Blightfire Moors was pretty interesting because it sends you to go kill these pumas every time I've gotten the quest. I don't know if it has any variation, but the pumas are like super easy to kill. Like, then they all assist, so they're easy to pull. It's outdoor zone, so you can, if you have to run around, you can. And it's really easy to get to. Is POK right to Blightfire Moors, or there's a wizard and druid port. I think they get at level 20 that can also go there too. The stone actually in POK says Crescent Reach. No idea why it says that, but it takes you to Blightfire Moors. So easy zone, easy experience. You can actually stay in the zone till probably 40 plus. For the daily quest, I got these pumas and cats every time, but there's like a subsection of the zone where there's these Bixie bee looking things, and they will take you all the way to 40. And then on another part of the zone, there's like an undead tower that'll take you probably to 45 if you're lucky. But you might be able to kill it too fast to make it worth it if you have more than 2 or 3 characters. 35 to 40. Great Divide, Stonehive, and Dreadlands. I have never gotten the Dreadlands daily quest. I got the Stonehive one. That was really easy. It was go kill 5 mushrooms, and I was in and out in a few seconds. It literally, they were like so easy to kill. It's almost a waste of time. I did not burn my lesson there. I did burn my lessons in the Great Divide when I had that quest, because it was usually go kill Kodiaks. And there's a cave in the Great Divide near Velk's Labyrinth or Laboratory, whatever it's called. Down in that part of the zone, and there is a ton of Kodiaks, and you can just sit in the middle of the cave and pull all day long. I mean, it's just, they spawn so fast. And if you can CC things, then you're good to go there. I never got the Dreadlands one, as I said, but Dreadlands is easy. It's outdoor zone, and you can see if Goranera is up, and you'll get another character if you have one to go kill her. If you do, I've done that a few times. But easy to get to. POK, Nexus, Dreadlands, Wizard and Druid can port directly there, and you can go through FV to get there also. So I prefer the Great Divide over all the other ones, but if you're burning your lesson. And you can get all 3 of these, right? So if you like can't play, but you can log in for a few seconds and just go talk to Franklin, that's something that should be noted. You can get this one, and then if it switches to the next one the next day, you can grab that one too, and the same thing with this. So you can bank up a bunch of these quests. So that's something good to know. All right, so now you're level 40. Same stuff. Go buy your spells, abilities. Go talk to Franklin. Get your next quest. For most of my groups at this point, I didn't even have enough money to buy my level 30 spells, and I just, with the lessons, I was able to level so fast to just avoid a lot of waiting around. So I went to Ocean of Tears, and I went to kill Sea Fury Cyclops. This worked out really well. I actually leveled one group from 40 to 45 just killing these to get platinum. And I still needed more platinum. I think I got all the way to maybe 46. And I needed more platinum. They drop a lot of platinum in the ways of gems and stuff, but it seems like it's been nerfed since the last time I had spent any time doing that. But I got a lot. I think I made a few thousand platinum in this time, and it still wasn't enough to buy all the spells. So definitely something you can do. I was able to pretty much clear the entire Sea Fury Island. There was no one else in the zone at around the 45-46 before respawn. So I was kind of waiting for respawn, which is kind of annoying, but I was doing this during the Hardcore Heritage event, so I couldn't go to Sibyllus to farm platinum there. So that was just a thing I had an option to do. So, you know, if you need more platinum, you can go to Guk, or all the other methods should be available to you. Like you could, if a group of 40 can go through the Soleil or Guk and just destroy it. And you can just do most of bottom Guk too. From 40 to 45, you got Mons, Letalis, Emerald Jungle, and City of Mist. So Mons is okay, a little bit of effort to get to, right? It's a few zones. Easy, not a lot of mobs though. I was gonna burn a lesson here, but I just couldn't pull enough mobs to do the daily quest in a timely manner, but just to kill them off. So I got my 5, I think it was rock hoppers. I got those and I left, and I'm just the only one I've ever gotten for this zone is the rock hoppers. So kind of whatever. Now, Emerald Jungle, this one, I don't like this quest. It was killed frenzy leeches every time I've gotten it on all my characters. And there's only one spot. I wish I would have made a map for it, for these to spawn. And it's like in the upper corner of the map. Sometimes you'll find them other places, but it's annoying. It's just so tedious and whatnot. It's just not worth the effort. Beyond the 5 for the daily quest, that is. So once you get those, just get out of there, go somewhere else. Don't burn your lesson there. Don't burn your lesson in lawns. City of Mist, burn your lesson here. You could probably get 55 if you're in the right spot and you have the group to do it. When it's a hot zone. So this one's pretty easy to get to. Field the Bone from POK, which is the Kabbalist Iskar city. Emerald Jungle, City of Mist, easy to get to. You can also use a Druid Wizard port. I don't know what the Wizard one's called, but the Druid one's like Winds of the South or something like that. It'll take you there. It's an evac spell. I think it's higher level than 40 though, so you might not have it yet. But it's pretty easy to get to. Easy dungeon. It's a mix of undead and live mobs, so it's pretty easy. Snare, probably good to have. Healer and a Reser, probably good to have just so you don't have to run back. You know, evac are probably useful if you need to evac from bad pools, but I didn't ever experience anything more than 2 or 3 mobs, and most of my groups all have CC, so, or I have one group that is I don't think I have it listed, but it's a warrior, a shaman, and 4 rogues, I believe, and they just destroy everything. Mostly because I just needed some rogues for a project I wanted to do, but yeah, it's just hilarious. So it's, you know, good group place to go. In most of these zones I've never seen other people, so 45 to 50. So this is like the end, right? Dulux Harbor, Dranlix Scar, and Scarlet Desert. Dulux Harbor is probably the best zone in my opinion. Dranlix Scar, I don't know. I went here with one group and I got demolished. I think you saw that, and if you watched my multi-boxing series on live, my Shadow Knight group, they got destroyed here every time. I went back with a Paladin group with all gnomes when I got the quest, and they destroyed the zone. I did the same thing with my Shadow Knight Shaman Berserker group. They destroyed the zone too, so I think I just got better at it, but the mobs hit a lot harder. They hit a lot harder than anything else. This is a Luckland. This is, I think, Omens of War or Gods of War. Right, wait, Omens, Priest of Discord, Omens of War, Gates of Discord. Yeah, this is a Gates of Discord expansion. So it's past Plains of Power, so the mobs just hit a lot harder. I think this one's Lost Dungeons of Norath, or Lost Dungeons of Norath, LDON. I think it is, but it's easy. I think my rogue was like almost one-shotting them with one group. It was just like insane how easy mobs were dying for the daily quest. I burned a lesson here, and I actually got one of my groups over 50 just sitting here killing mobs in that zone. It was pretty crazy. Scarlet Desert, it's a pain to get to, as you can see. The Nexus, Shadow Haven, Echo Caverns, Fungus Grove, Twilight Sea, Scarlet Desert, and I believe you can port directly to Twilight Sea from the Guild Hall. Yeah, right here I listed it. And then you can also do, I think, a Druid or Wizard port directly there too. But not all my groups had that, and free-to-play accounts can't make guilds, so I had to do the long run because I didn't make a guild for my free-to-play characters. So it's an okay zone. It's just hard to get to. The mobs are easy. There's lots of mobs. You could burn a lesson here very easily. Probably get from 45 to 50, maybe higher. I just sat there and killed mobs all day long. They spawn so fast, you never have to wait for respawn. So yeah, you're level 50 now. At this point, you know, you can go get the level 50 hot zone quests, and that'll be in part 2 of the video. But you know, go to POK, get your spells, go farm platinum. You want to be ready for the next part, because it's gonna get harder. It gets harder and harder as you go. And the mobs start hitting more and more, so at this point you'd probably want your tank to be, I think it's ornate defiant at this point at 50, or flawed. I can't remember what the cutting point is on that, but you're gonna want a lot of armor. AC is probably the best for tank, and all these hot zone drops zones drop augs. I was gonna document all those, but they're all crappy augs, honestly. All the augs you're gonna replace fairly quickly, and this, depending on how you do it, it shouldn't take you very long to do this. I actually did one group 1 to 50 in like 2 days of casual messing around, just grinding and burning lessons whenever they popped up. And that was also during the experience bonus, so something, you know, to keep in mind. So other things, you know, here's all my links and stuff, but that is my suggestion on how to get 1 to 50 in Everquest Live, modern 2021. There's, you know, you can go to alternate zones. There's so many zones. There's like 500 and something zones in the game, and there's always an alternate and stuff like that. But I found that all of the hot zones put you in a path to get to where you need to get to faster. I mean, you know, like I think on like one of the early slides I mentioned Kern's Tower, right? Kern's Tower is great if you're a Scar and you're on a TLP server, but if you're on live, I mean, what's the point of running all the way out there? Because you're gonna start in Crescent Reach. You know, you have to go all the way to POK, and so you could have just leveled all the way up in Crescent Reach then. So, and I think I mentioned on one slide, or I mentioned it during one of the streams, that new players all have to start in Crescent Reach, and this seems to be true unless you have a legacy account. You can start in the original starting towns. That was something that I didn't realize, because I made a bunch of free-to-play accounts to test a lot of stuff, and they could only start in Crescent Reach, and I was like, what? But then I made a character on one of my my gold accounts, and I was able to create them wherever. So I don't know what the deal with that is, but I would just start whatever character in Crescent Reach. It's the quickest way to get going without much effort, and you can go do the tutorial really quick, and your character should be solid to start the whole thing right there. But part 2 will be from 50 to probably 85. I don't know how far I'll take that. There's a few breakpoints along the way, and it just depends on there's gonna be several different leveling paths that I've used, but got to do a little bit more testing on a few of these hot zones, because some of them I'm getting smashed on some groups, and I'm getting just destroying with other groups, and it's something I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong on those groups to make sure before I do that. But thank you for watching, and have a great day.